Thanks for joining us again. This is Barry Kazire. Get ready for some real live marketing. Are you a small business owner that is confused over your accounting records? Accounting by Art can help you eliminate this confusion with a free initial one-to-one consultation. Art offers QuickBooks training seminars covering both QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online, as well as addressing your specific needs and questions. Visit accountingbyart.com and set up your free consultation today. If you're looking for high quality ink for your home or office at a great price, CR Office Technologies Inc. has the ink you need at the price you want. Visit crofficetech.com. That's crofficetech.com to get the price, the quality, and the service you've been looking for. Hello, welcome back to Real Live Marketing. This week's guest is my friend Hal, who's a commercial real estate agent. And Hal's going to talk to us about how he has used websites to achieve success in his industry. A lot of what we're going to talk about is applicable to any industry. And right after the show, I'm going to talk to you about the 7 worst mistakes you can make on a website. I'm going to go through each one of those for you really quickly. And I'll also show you where you can download a more detailed description of these 7 mistakes right after our interview with Hal. But without any further ado, here is Hal and some real live marketing. And before we get into the show, here's a couple of our friends who make this show possible. Feeling lost with accounting, bookkeeping, or payroll for your small business? Accounting by Art offers a free one-on-one consultation for the state of your business. Art Stump has years of experience helping small business owners with their accounting needs. He also offers QuickBooks training seminars covering both QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online, as well as addressing your specific needs and questions. Seminar participants also get a free 1-hour office visit after the class to be sure their QuickBook issues are solved to their satisfaction. Mention this ad at your consultation and get 10% off initial services when you sign up and pay for your first month. Visit accountingbyart.com today and get started. Tired of high prices and low service when purchasing ink for your home or office printer? CR Office Technologies offers their hassle-free guarantee. If it's not right, we'll make it right. They know that customer service is number one. At CR Office Technologies, you get great service on top of great products at prices that you can't beat. They have laser and fax toner cartridges, inkjet cartridges and paper, laser fuses and drum kits, copier toners, and more. Visit crofficetech.com. That's crofficetech.com to get the price, quality, and service that you've been looking for. All right, great. Welcome back to Real Live Marketing. I'm here with Hal Hanstein. Welcome, Hal.
Hey, thank you, Barry. How are you?
Good. So Hal's with Cardinal Realty here in St. Louis, and so you primarily just to tell people who you are and what you do. Go for it.
Well, I'm a commercial real estate broker. Been in the real estate business most of my life, and specialize in sale and leasing of St. Louis commercial real estate and international investment sales. I bring international investors into the United States to buy our properties throughout the country.
Great. That's great. And then, and recently you were, not that long ago, you were in the news for inspecting property using drones.
Yeah, using drones until the FAA shut me down. Yeah, that's right, Barry. But good news is I'm back flying again because I am a licensed pilot, and because I'm a licensed pilot, all I have to do is get my medical updated, and I can fly them again according to the FAA.
Really? You can fly? You have to be a licensed pilot?
Correct.
Wow. Well, that's a whole different subject, a whole different marketing tool we can talk about. Today, we're talking, though, about websites. So we're going to talk about basically how important they are to have a website. These days, you're basically, I had a guy that we built a website for. He went in to see a banker to get a loan, and the first thing the banker said to him was, "Oh, do you have a website?" And they said yes, and the banker pulled it up, and it was brilliant. It's like they had instant credibility, even from the banks.
Right.
You at least have to have a website, or you've got no credibility. Just to tell you one other thing, I had another client who lost a job because he didn't have a website, and came to me recently to get a website because he lost a big outdoor decking job just because he didn't have one, and so people were weary. So, I mean, the number one thing a website does for you is credibility. You've probably noticed that.
Oh, it does a lot. My favorite saying in life and in sales is unseen is untold is unsold. And the website gives me the ability to be seen. And then hopefully I can talk about my product I'm selling. And then I can sell it or lease it or do what I'm trying to accomplish. Without the website, you have nothing. The websites replace the office space itself, literally. I mean, it's become more important than the brick and mortar. So this is a virtual economy. It only makes sense that your business is virtual.
That's great. Do you operate out of your home primarily?
Yes, I do now. I used to have 4,000 square feet outside of Clayton with a lot of overhead and just don't need it with the technology and the tools that we have available to us today. And the biggest thing people need to understand, your market's bigger than your neighborhood. I mean, this is a global market, a global economy we are in. And anyone who keeps blinders on, they're going to miss the sale.
Right. Yeah, you could reach out literally to everyone with a website.
Around the world, yes. No end to it. I mean, I've done deals out of London. Actually, I brought Activity into St. Louis, put them on Washington Avenue. That came out of London. If there wasn't a website, they would have never found me.
Right. Who was that again?
Activity.
What's that?
It was a CRM company that later went out of business in the crash of the 2000s.
Okay. But you brought them in.
Exactly, right.
That's interesting.
And I brought the Bentley dealership up from Lauderdale. Once again, they found me on the internet, and the website is the tool that people find you on.
It's true. I mean, with our company, we reach out across the nation with our website. One of the we actually had we have a client. We have a client that we've easily done over $500,000 of business with this client, and it's because someone found us on the web and then liked our work and then referred us to a manufacturer. And as a result, we ended up with literally $500,000 worth of business over the years just from this one client because we had a website.
Right, but it's not just having a website. It's a website with decent content.
Right.
The website's got to have content, and it's going to be relevant. It's going to be constantly changed and updated, so it's new and fresh. There's a lot to it. It's not just having a website. That's easy. Anyone can do that. It's maintaining that website that makes the difference.
It's true. It's really true. Just step one is having the website. Then you have to have decent content. There has to be stuff. In your case, you have to have properties and information about that property. But the content varies based on the website. And then one of the things that we evaluate when we take a look at somebody's website is how usable the website is. One of my favorite books on website design is a book called Don't Make Me Think by a guy named Steve Krug, who's hilarious. And we'll put it in the show notes for people. But the whole idea being a website should be intuitive. People should get there and they should naturally be able to figure out where they should go with proper headlines and menu structure. And it shouldn't be like, you walk into Target, sometimes Target rearranges the store on you. And, I don't know if you've ever walked in and experienced that. And we walk in and you think you know where things are, and then you go to find those things and they've rearranged the whole place. And it's kind of frustrating. Whole Foods is doing that to us here locally right now. So the chocolate used to be over there, now it's over here. Oh my goodness, I don't know where to find things. The dry goods are over there. It's like you have to have things. I mean, maybe they're improving the situation overall, where I'll like it better when it's done. But right now, it's just an interruption, and it doesn't help me. It actually confuses me. And this guy Steve Krug, he talks about, if you have a website that confuses people, and I'm sure this is true for a store or whatever, you lose a little bit of goodwill every moment that they're confused, the goodwill meter, if it started off at 100%, it actually declines the more confused and irritated they get on your website.
Well, I mean, I believe in the KISS methodology, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
And I think that's really true. And I also think in order to keep it simple, it needs to be very visual. You have to have a lot of pictures. Pictures sell. Picture says 1,000 words.
That's right.
And the content and the website has to be written and designed so you get maximum exposure with the SEO search engines.
Yeah, absolutely. And you wouldn't believe how important something like typography is, because people scan websites. So you have to have like headlines and subheadlines,
Right,
so that they can actually find what they want. They can scan through quickly. They can find a paragraph that's of interest that they needed to find and read that as a result.
Well, giving you a good example, just Sunday, I had a listing call on a property I had, and the person found me on Oodle, Oodle, I believe it is. I'm not putting my properties on Oodle, but it's a spider site that got picked up off of my website that the person saw. And if the website wasn't designed properly and laid out properly, Oodle would not have picked it up.
That's right.
And I would have never gotten a call.
That's great. And that's on your Cardinal Realty site.
Correct.
That's great. Yeah, that's exactly right. Spider, just so you know, the World Wide Web has people put out these programs called spiders that literally crawl through the web looking for content of interest, so that they can index that content for their own users. So so if you don't actually, that makes total sense. You've got to design the site for the search engines, for these other devices. Correct. And crawlers out there. So you've got to accommodate the customers of the web.
And the key is, I mean, I consider myself an older person. I'm in late 50s. But you have to have young people that understand the new technology, that can help guide you and lead you through this stuff, that can get you on the right page, teach you the right tricks to keep it current. Because you can be an old established company and you're going to be on the 4th or 5th page of Google. And, I can be on the 1st and 2nd page of Google, which I am, because my websites are working properly.
That's great. You get the right content that's just all been done the right way. So that's pretty important. So you've been using the web since?
Actually, I mean, since we had CompuServe, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with 200 baud modem acoustical coupler way back when in the old days with an Apple IIe.
Wow.
But that's a long story.
So you've been using the web for your business since then?
Correct.
Wow. So your first website, do you remember your first website?
No, it was, yes, but then I lost the domain because the company that I had that was hosting my website went out of business. And I didn't know my domain was not being renewed. So
man. It's real important to renew your domains.
Exactly.
Have somebody who renews it.
Well, I mean, and I have like 51 domain names.
Okay.
And I mean, I use websites for special properties, create their own website. It gives them a lot more visibility and functionality. And so it's all about laying out your website right.
No, I think that's important. I love that when real estate, people do that with a property too, because you can just type in the address.
Right.
And usually that's how they label the domain is the address.
Right.
And so you type in the address and boom, there's your website. And so it's a fantastic way to create a site. Do you create those yourself, or do you have a service that does that?
I pretty much create them through one of the listing sites I use.
Okay.
They give me the tools to provide my own websites for certain properties.
Great. Good.
So,
those are pretty much like lead generation pages.
Yeah, they're just cookie cutters.
Yeah.
But they're easy to do.
You get really, it's like commercial property can be kind of a barrier to find when you're looking for it as a consumer. I happen to know. So it's, that's a great tool. That's great.
So you end up with a bunch of great names, that one day you'll pull them out. And I mean, way back when it first started, Internet was charging $300 a year for an internet domain name. Now GoDaddy's selling them for $9.95, I think.
Right.
A year. So, I mean, it's all gotten a lot more affordable than it was back in the dark ages.
Yeah. And you're seeing your domain names pretty cheap, and so you can buy those, and you can, we can create those cookie cutter sites for people as well, or you can find an easy program to create them yourself so you can have those lead pages. So that's fantastic. So you've been using them since CompuServe, and you've come forward with the different websites that you've had. What's the biggest deal that you've gotten because you had a website?
Oh, it's just the fun. I mean, they come every day. I mean, the phones ring because of the website.
Okay.
I mean, and the way technology's changed, you also have to have the other tools that are up to the same speed as the websites are. So, it's important, I think, to have voice over IP phones, and so you have the connectivity. People want information now. The biggest thing, if you have a website, people call you, find you on your website. They expect a response quickly.
That's right. They want a phone call.
Right. And if you're not willing to put that kind of time into giving that kind of quick return, you're wasting your time with your website.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's one of people's biggest irritations is not getting a call back. Yeah, so it's good to know as a real estate agent.
Because what they do, I think, is they go to Google and they search for St. Louis commercial real estate, and they find company A. They call company A. Company A doesn't call them back. Then they go down the list and call company B. They don't call them back. Well, guess what? I'm third on Google right now. So
that's right. Yeah, no, that's true.
I respond and I get the deal.
That's true. Yeah, and there's actually the stats are, and as a realist, I'm glad as a real estate agent you respond quickly. It's true of other industries too. It's actually by survey, I think it's like a person is like 74% more likely to get the deal if they're the first one to respond.
Exactly, and that happens all the time.
That's great.
All the time.
That's great. It's also pretty interesting that no matter what you're promoting or how you're promoting, apparently over 90% of the public out there will go to your website before they call you. They'll call you, and you better be the one that answers quick, but they'll go and look at that website first, and it has to be a representation of you.
And I want them to, and that's why I use QR codes on all my listings. So I have a separate QR code for each listing, and I have those QR codes posted on my properties. So they go to my property listing first, and then I get the call.
That's great. So it's good to know QR codes. We could do a show on that too. Yeah. QR codes are not dead, apparently.
Oh no, they're great. I
saw a book title the other day called "QR Codes Kill Kittens." And I thought QR codes must be bad, but but I've seen them used effectively, and one of the most effective ways. I know they're not bad, and I don't think they actually kill kittens, but. But
at least not in microwaves, right?
But one of the most effective ways I've seen them used is on property. You're driving by and space for lease, and I've seen huge QR codes in the window, and you're stopped at the stoplight, and you have a time, and you can take a picture of that thing or whatever, and so that you can actually search it later.
Well, I mean, we can take it back a few years when you used to have a sign with tune in the station 98.7 for property information. And there was a repeater transmitter inside the building that said, oh, this is a great building and this is what it has.
Wow.
But that was static and that was impermanent. You had to be in front of the building to pick that up. QR code is far much better. And then going back to websites, though, you have to have your website smartphone optimized. So when they do hit that QR code, the listing pulls up in a format that people's phones can read.
That's true. Yeah, because I guess well over half the internet traffic these days is done via mobile phone.
And then who's doing it though? Also, I mean, in my business, it's people my age are making the final decisions, but there's the people that are out looking are the 30-year-olds. And the 30-year-olds are all running around with their iPhones and their Galaxies and everything else. So, I mean, everything I do has to be geared towards that 30-year-old mentality and the 30-year-old technology. Yeah,
it's very true. I may be the one who makes the final decision around here, but I don't do all necessarily the legwork. I have people who work here. I have a number of younger people who work here, and they're gonna have their methodologies of searching that that I may or may not also share with them. But then, so you have to accommodate to the everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I was trained on the 3x5 notepad in my pocket, and that's the way it was. But so you got to market for the new generation, and the website's the cornerstone.
That's great. That's great. How important do you think design is played in the websites that, how pretty they are, how good they look?
Well, design is huge. I mean, but people want to see pictures. So, I mean, like I said earlier, a picture says 1,000 words. So I think it's got to be loaded with photos. and it has to have good, meaningful content. And the content's got to be written in the manner that the search engines can pick up and find. So, I mean, there's an art to writing websites content. It's not just putting a few words down.
Right. No, that's true. And the pictures are a big deal. I know that that's true in social media and email. People are like 47% more likely to click through on your emails if they contain a picture. I know the same is true for a website too, so that's pretty vital. One of the things that we will find that people do is they don't actually name the pictures properly. So we go through and we actually, somebody has image 4352.jpg, right? And so that's the name of their image.
You got to name them.
Yeah, you actually have to name
and tag them and everything else, right?
Name them with what the actual building is, tag them so that they actually have descriptions that the search engine can find. So there's all those little bits and pieces that go into putting images on the web. Yeah. No. And Google likes fresh content too. How do you deal with that?
I'm on my website every day, changing it a little bit, tweaking it a little bit, and seeing what that does for placements. So, I mean, every day I'm in on the website, making small changes to it.
Great.
And keeping it fresh.
That's great.
Because you just can't put it on the shelf and let it sit there.
No. Yeah. I like to say that it's not a website it can no longer be a static brochure that's thrown on the internet and forgotten and dated. You can't do that anymore. You've got to actually maintain it constantly and add to it and change it like you do. You're obviously in there, editing small parts and big
Correct.
parts and adding big sections and editing small sections. And Google actually notices. It actually notices all those changes and sees how much change you're doing across the whole website. So, so that's extremely valuable.
So, I mean, a lot's changed, but I mean, the basic thing is, your website's your cornerstone of your business. Without that, you have nothing.
Good. How do you integrate social media to it? How important have you found that to be?
Well, I have links on my website to social media. So, I mean, I link to all the major ones, and I've tried using social media, mostly Facebook, to generate new leads and new business. And with my international sites, I found that social media, I was bragging about a deal I just did with one of my Chinese customers. He bought an Arby's in Indiana, and I bought ad space on Facebook for that and got like a zillion hits. I mean, it was incredible the amount of traffic I got.
Wow.
And that came out of China. So, I mean, it helped me get to a market that I wasn't able to get to with normal stuff that Facebook gave me the opportunity to market to the Chinese, to put that out there as an ad for them to see. And once again, the Facebook ad I put out there had a lot of photos. It had a photo of my Chinese customer with his American seller, and it's something that people could relate to.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes me think of a couple pretty vital marketing things that people don't think of, is that you actually have to do your promotion on the right order of magnitude. You actually have to think of doing enough promotion to make a difference,
right?
Because if a drip in a lake is nothing, nobody notices it.
Well, it takes 3 impressions to make a sale,
right?
And that's always a good principle. The other thing is you need multiple websites,
right?
When I was in college, I worked for Radio Shack, and we always had system of the month. We had the good system, the better system, the best system. Well, you got to put your product out there at least 3 different ways so people can look at it in 3 different angles.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, you need to have multiple websites.
Yeah, and that's minimum these days.
And those websites need to link back into your mother site.
That's right. Yeah. And that's great. It all kind of fits together. So there's a lot of key points here to having a website, having multiple ones, like you said, having enough content, images, social media integration. I mean, that's a lot to think about, but you've done a lot of it yourself.
Correct. But I've also done it with the help of an ad agency. I recently came to Response Target Marketing to help me with my international sites. Because, I mean, I needed help in real translations. I just couldn't use Google Translate to translate my sites because it would have been all screwed up.
Right.
So, I mean, that took a lot of work. That took a lot of effort on their part to understand what I needed to do. And I mean, I think I tore it up 3 times before we finally said, hey, this is a decent looking site.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you need help. You need professional help that help get you to the next level, but you do need multiple sites.
Great. So as far as a marketing tool, I guess you'd basically say this is like indispensable.
Oh, it's more important than the business card. It's more important than the business location.
Great.
Your website and your website location is your most important thing in business marketing right now.
Fantastic. All right, great. Well, Hal, I want to thank you for coming today. I appreciate it. You can find, and where can they find you one more time?
You can find me on the internet, cardinalrealtygroup.com, and or just how the hell are you?
Okay, good.
Have a good one.
All right, thanks, Hal.
Bye.
So that was great. So we had some great advice, some great tips for you on a website, putting your website together. Now I want to go over the 7 worst mistakes that you can make regarding your website. You can also download this on reallivemarketing.com. That's reallivemarketing.com. You can download a full description of each one of these items that I'm going to go over. But here they are. Mistake number 1, violating design conventions. Now, what does that mean? Okay, good. Well, you know what design is, but what is a convention? A convention, if you don't know, is the normal way of doing things. Like, for instance, it's a convention or a normal way of doing things to put the fork on a certain side of the table. Like, that's convention. Many of us still haven't learned. We don't know exactly. We ask others, but there is a normal way of doing things that's called a convention. Conventions exist all over in life. Like when a guest comes over, there's a convention to offer them something to drink. These are usual things to do. You can offer to take a person's coat. Manners often fall into the category of conventions. So design conventions, those include things like if you have too many fonts or colors, that could be a problem. Badly formatted photos, unclear navigation that guides a person around the website, not having a clear and professional brand, out-of-date design. It's obvious that it's an ancient site, etc. If you go to our website, you can download the paper on this and get some more details on what design conventions are. And I highly recommend taking a look into that. It's worth knowing about and getting some help with. Even if you're not a designer, you should be able to recognize good design versus bad design. And especially if you're a business owner, because you're using it to promote your business through websites, emails, etc. Number 2, not having an SEO strategy right from the start. Couple points on this is maybe you haven't identified the exact keywords that are related to your industry or that should be included in your website based on geography. Also, having a strategy to add new content to your website on a regular basis. These are all part of a SEO strategy. It's a mistake not to have one right from the start. That leads us right into mistake number 3, which is not answering enough visitors' questions or not having enough content. Now, when you think of it from the viewpoint of Google, their customer is the people who are searching for things. So they want to put together a listing that is going to best service the person who's searching. So if Google gives you a bunch of useless stuff, well, then you're not very happy with Google. So Google wants you to put in there a lot of answers to customers' questions. You could ask yourself this and take the viewpoint of a customer. Why do people come to your site? Most of them are looking for something, a product or information. How much information do you have posted on your website? What about the products and services you deliver? Why these products and services are beneficial? Answers to common questions should be on the site. Videos, images, consumer reviews or testimonials, possibly company news. You want to have a lot of content and be adding it regularly to your website. I like to say that a website is not a static brochure that's stale and forgotten and over there on the internet somewhere. A website has to be a vibrant and alive part of your organization and your marketing plan. And that way you'll give Google what it needs and you'll be found by more people that are searching for what you provide. Mistake number 4, not having a good conversion strategy. Now, this has nothing to do with religion, for those of you that might be asking. A conversion strategy that was a joke, by the way. A conversion strategy basically is an easy way for people to get in touch with you. And it's also something you're offering them so that they will give you their information, their contact information, such as a free estimate, a paper that you can download, access to some information, etc. These have to be clear on a website and obvious, and you can have several so that you can capture people here and there throughout your website. Mistake number 5, not optimizing load times. What does that mean? Basically, 40% of web users will leave a site if it takes more than 3 seconds for the website to load. So it can't take more than 3 seconds for your website to load. And if it does, well, then some optimization needs to occur so that that website pops up pretty quick. Google actually considers page speed to be one of 200 ranking factors that influence a website's position in organic search results, those natural results that come up when you search for something. Yes, we live in an age where speed definitely matters. So how quick your website comes up is a factor. Mistake number 6, social media interaction. You don't have any. Half of the internet users ages 18 to 23 and 40% of all the users ages 24 to 32 use social networks as their go-to internet discovery resource. That means they're using social networks to find out about things. You need to be active in your demographics' chosen social mediums. These have to be paid attention to. You have to promote that you have them, and that includes promoting them on your website and having social media interaction tied in with your website. And finally, mistake number 7, not having a mobile-friendly website. Over 60% of all internet access these days is done through a mobile device. So if your website is not mobile, if it doesn't show up very nicely on a mobile device, it's a problem. A good example of this that you can check out is reallivemarketing.com. Go check it out on a computer and then pull it up on your phone. You'll see that we've optimized it for both a laptop and a mobile device. So there you go. You want to make sure not to fall victim to these mistakes. You're spending money on your business and you want to get the most out of your investment. So you want to make sure you do it right. We also do a website evaluation that you can request information regarding at reallivemarketing.com. I highly recommend downloading that paper and getting this information. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week for some more Real Live Marketing.